Welcome in everyone. Welcome in everyone. In this video, we're going to go over some of the top setups for the next few days. Obviously, guys, it's Q4. Market's doing really well. I'm up 40% in the last month on my shares account alone, so it's been a really good couple of months here, Q4, as we anticipated. Anyway, guys, if you haven't already, go to the Discord. It's in the description. Follow me on X, and watch some of the other videos before we begin because they have other setups that are not going to be talked about today that are still valid. Anyway, guys, let's get into it. Let's go check out some of these great setups. So Grab, first off. First on the list is Grab. I have my alert set for 540, around 540. As you guys can see, it's made a beautiful move, breaking out of a big base here, and it's just been electric, really. So it broke out of the base around 380. Now it topped out at about 570. Now it's chilling off, consolidating, giving us a nice setup opportunity somewhere around that 540 level. That's kind of where I would look to enter. As you can see, we're going to most likely break out of this little base it's developing. And then once it gets that and some volume off of this, it should, put in new highs. The momentum here is evident. And also you can see the accumulation in the decline in volume. Things are tightening up. So these are things we look for, right? Decline in volume. We want the setup to tighten up so that when we get a breakout, it expands. And the tightness does a few things for us. But the main thing is that it allows us to have tighter stop losses, right? So when there's tight action in the stock and it breaks out, we can keep our stop loss very close to our entry, which is going to allow us to either A, buy more shares, or just take overall less risk and receive a similar reward for just a less amount of risk. So Grab, nice setup. Probably one of the top 3 watches for tomorrow. Coinbase, I think everyone's watching Coinbase, but for good reason, right? Crypto is one of the leading, if not the leading, theme this year, or at least the back end of the year. And we have obviously some really nice consolidation here. This is a typical flag, right? So it made a very violent move once Bitcoin was running, and since it's pretty much flagged up, everyone's watching this. So again, we're looking just for a breakout of this level here, so it's very close. It's right on that breakout level. Due to the amount of eyeballs on this one, it might break out, pull back, but even if it is to pull back, it's most likely going to pull back into an area of support, and then it'll receive probably the bigger move. But either way, if you get in this position on the breakout, you should not be stopped out as long as it kind of follows along that path. But just have in your mind that when you're buying on the breakout, it might pull back before actually getting a bigger move. It's something we see when there's so many eyeballs on particular setups. So, okay, Roblox. I'm a huge fan of this Roblox setup. I spoke about it in the last video, and it did get the pop out of this little wedge. A little bit of a delayed EP going on, right? Had the gap up, some decent earnings. It really didn't do anything. It tried, getting above 55, and it just slid down. Now we're getting some momentum back, creeping back in the stock, and I think it looks really great. Over this key level of about 53. We'll see 56, and once you clear this high, it should make its way over to 60, 65, and keep chugging away. This is Q4. If you look on the larger time frame, it's a really good setup as well. I mean, this broke out of a huge base, and it has plenty of open air. I mean, when you look at this on the monthly, right, the stock has plenty of upside. So sometimes you have to zoom out a little bit to get the bigger picture. It really depends on what type of trade you're aiming for, but if we're swing trading this, which typical swing trade would involve just riding the momentum, and realistically, like once this clears $60, we're kind of just, my expectation is as long as the market's doing well, that this just continues progressing higher. So we'll see how it goes, but I really like Roblox. I think $60 is a reasonable price target for like the next 15-20 days on this one. Okay, so let's see what the next one is. ASTS. So ASTS is a pretty interesting name. Made a huge move this year as part of that Rocket group of stocks. So we have like Rocket Labs, DXYZ recently. But ASTS had a beautiful rally. This was like kind of like an EP. And it goes from $3 all the way to a high of 38. Talk about a moneymaker. And then the stock proceeds to just fade. You know, I was really focused on this break. And it did get the break, but it stalled out at $30. There was, key level resistance. Tried breaking past it again. It failed. And now it's kind of just in a similar wedge to this overall formation. So I think, well, look, it's really tight. This is a stock that has a pretty high ADR. And when it's, when it's up or down 1% day after day after day, I think, okay, well, spring's possibly loading. I mean, we see it reflected in the volume. We see the signs, right? The stock's consolidating. Now, does it pop out of the wedge and actually target 29 again? Well, we'll have to see, But I think, like I've said, earlier in the video, when you have a tight stop loss, if it breaks out, you're willing to take risks. I mean, like, for example, DJT, I touched that today. I talked about it in the last video, and I wasn't liking it. I stopped out. Whatever. I lost, it was, 2% the stock was down, so it was nothing. I wasn't down 2% on the account. I meant, like, I was down 2%. The stock was down 2% from the time I bought. So I ended up cutting it. I was like, you know what? Whatever. I have a tight stop. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, so DJT was on the watch list, the last video. And it is popping out of it. We'll see if it continues. I just didn't think it had enough juice in it. So I was like, I don't want to be in this. But anyway, ASTS kind of reminds me of that. Tight, just needs a little bit of a wedge pop, maybe a little catalyst to send this thing. But if it clears 30, 40's insights, that would be a very big move, looking at it now at 22. But given what this stock has done this year, it's certainly possible. So Microsoft. I really like Microsoft. The daily, obviously, you can see it looks good. It's trying to break out of this downtrend, but I want to focus in on the weekly. And the weekly is so beautiful. So we have a nice little flag on the weekly. It's been making higher lows, lower highs. And as you can see here, there's a lot of confluence here because the break of this downtrend would be at the 430 level, which also happens to be a key level of resistance. So the stock hasn't done anything since March, and it topped out at 430, and ever since it's been testing that 430. Really couldn't get through it aside from this. So 430 has been a key level, and as you can see, this is a really nice flag. This most likely has the potential to send it and finally get it above 430. I would say shorter term, next couple of months, pushing that 450, possibly 460 level. So, obviously, guys, so these price targets are a little bit to the higher side, but they're just implying they basically depend on the market performing well. So if the market performs well from here till the end of 2024, these price targets are possible, right? If the market is not good and there's just a lot of selling, then none of these price targets are going to get hit. I will say, though, I mean, we're in Q4. This is seasonally just a very strong period of the year. I do expect the market to be strong until at least probably the beginning of January. So, all right, let's go. AMSC. Semiconductor stock. I really like this one. It's had a really nice rally over the last few months. And if we go to the daily here, it is down today, but this is a really nice flag it's developing. I like it. Today it's tapping the 20 EMA. It should bounce off of that to continue this trajectory. But anyway, it looks really good. Obviously, we had a nice little break out of this little base right here. Made a beautiful move up to 37. Now it's chopping away, looking for the next leg higher. And this is a nice flag. So we'll keep an eye on this one. I think it's really good. It's in the right sector at the right time. So I like it. Let's see. Any other stocks? I'm just looking at my list. Unity. I like Unity. So Unity it was really it was really nice over here, and it kind of just fell apart. Started falling apart after the earnings, and now it it made a huge recovery. it was down all the way. Sorry, the camera's blocking my face. It was down to 17. We've seen it move all the way to 24, and now it's tightening up right here, in a little bit of a flag. So I think this thing has explosive potential. I think $30 is very much a possibility. When you zoom out and you see the price movement of this stock, how this stock moves, you would know that 30 is definitely a reasonable price target. This is a very volatile stock, and it's been battered pretty hard since its IPO at this point, but these are the types of growth stocks that perform the best during, Q4s, during times of, interest rate decline, the Fed talks of cutting interest rates. Sorry, I don't know. But currently we have a Fed that's saying they expect to cut rates throughout 2025. So that's obviously been good for the growth stocks. Sorry, I was like a little stuttery there. But anyway, you get the point. IWM should benefit throughout the rest of Q4. I was going to really talk about it more, but after today's action, I was like, whatever. But you get it, right? I think this is a key level right here. This like 243. Getting over 243 would be really big for this stock, for IWM. So small cap index, obviously. And I think like 260 is a reasonable price target. If it gets a breakout, which it should, because small caps usually perform the best in these environments. So anyway, guys, that's today's video. Drop a like. Discord link in bio. It's free. Go check it out, guys. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.